Hey guys, welcome to HipHughes History. We're doing it, guys. It's the election of 1856. The Civil War is so close I can feel it in my bones. Franklin Pierce is going to be denied a chance to run for his second term. We're going to have three parties, including the new Republican Party. I am just so excited. So giddy up for the learning. Let's go get her done right now. Let's start with the Democrats because they're the ones who won in 1852 with Franklin Pierce from New Hampshire. He's a Northerner with Southern principles, but he angered both the North and the South during his term. Now, in order to complete his bargain with the Southern principles, he signed the Kansas-Nebraska Act. This is expansion of slavery, popular sovereignty, led to bleeding Kansas, also argued for the annexation of Cuba and the spreading of slavery out there. So while that's popular in the South, the Northern Democrats are ripping their hair out. And in the same token, he's tinkering with the spoils system and patronage, and he's making some enemies in the southern part of the United States and the Democratic Party as well. We have Stephen Douglas, who's running again at the convention. He's kind of the candidate of the railroad companies. He's the father of popular sovereignty in the Kansas-Nebraska Act, but he's back for another round after beating Abraham Lincoln for the Senate in Illinois. We have old man Lewis Cass back. Lewis Cass wants to be president real bad. Lost the convention race in 1852, lost the presidential race in 1848. He's got his ticker still going, so he's back for another round. But all three of these guys are going to be outmaneuvered by James Buchanan from Pennsylvania. Really interesting character. Not only was he a House member and a Senate member, he was minister to Russia, and he was Secretary of State. In fact, he was the last Secretary of State to be elected to the presidency of the United States, maybe until this election cycle. I guess we're going to find out. Also rumored to be gay. Not that that's a big deal today, but back then it would have been a pretty big deal. Now, these are only rumors, but there are historians like James Lowen who believe that James Buchanan was in fact a gay man living in the 19th century. He shacked up in Washington, D.C. with Alabama Senator William Rufus King, and although they destroyed most of their correspondence, a couple of the letters have popped up in American history. I'll read you a little passage that James Buchanan wrote to his friend William when William was serving as Minister of France in 1844, and it went something like this.
I am now solitary and alone, having no companion in the house with me. I have gone a-wooing to several gentlemen, but I have not succeeded with any one of them.
William Rufus's nickname was Aunt Nancy. So you guys can make your own decisions, do your own research, but pretty interesting in American history. So we have our candidate in James Buchanan from Pennsylvania, another Northerner with Southern principles. Back then they called them dough faces. I have no idea why. Let's look at the grand old party, the GOP, the Republicans, who are just putting up their big tent. So we have a new political party in town, guys. It's the Republican Party. Yes, the same Republican Party today that's kind of imploding. But in 1854, after the passage of the Kansas-Nebraska Act, some of the other political parties that were kind of lingering about in the North, some angry Whigs, a couple Northern Democrats, a lot of Free Soilers, and really the remnants of that old Federalist Party have really coalesced against the expansion of slavery, and that's the Republican Party. Their slogan was simple: free speech, free press, free soil, free men, Fremont, and victory. John Fremont, to be specific, former senator from California, who's going to lead the charge with William Dayton, his vice presidential nominee, who beat out a man by the name of Abraham Lincoln. And there was also some other contenders. In fact, Charles Sumner was going for the nod of the Republican Party, and in May of that year, May 22nd of 1856, a very interesting incident, to say the least, occurred in the U.S. Senate when he was giving a speech called Crimes Against Kansas. And in that speech, Charles Sumner, the senator, went specifically out and attacked Stephen Douglas, the senator from Illinois, and another senator by the name of Andrew Butler, who he claimed was an adulterer with the mistress of slavery. And he, in a sense, personally attacked him to the point where his kinfolk, specifically a guy by the name of Preston Brooks, who was in the House of Representatives, I believe he was his nephew, was so mad that he walked into old man Sumner's office after that speech, brought his cane, and beat the silly nonsense to the point of almost killing Sumner. It really speaks volumes about where we are in Washington, D.C., with the Southern forces and the Northern forces really at the brink of civil war. So we have our Republican Party. Like I said, their platform platform is against the expansion of slavery. They had a little blip in there about bigamy and being against that with the Mormons out west. And they also believe in infrastructure spending in the name of a choo-choo. They want the railroad real bad. They're going to have to wait till Lincoln gets elected. So we're finished with the Republican Party. Let's get to the election. No, wait, I forgot one. I forgot another political party. And as I'm trying to think of it, I know nothing. So our third party, who really is going to throw this election to the Democrats, and they did pick up 20% of the popular vote and some electoral votes in the state of Maryland, they're going to run a man by the name of Millard Fillmore, the former Whig president. Now, what's interesting about the Know-Nothings, or the American Party, they were called the Native American Party for a little while, that name didn't work out, is that Millard Fillmore wasn't even a member of their party, never gave a speech where he mentioned them, never showed up to one of their shindigs. In fact, he was overseas when they nominated him, so when he got back, he was kind of like, okay, I guess I'll run with you guys. I don't know. He ends up bringing along for the ride with him Andrew Jackson Donaldson, who's the nephew of course, Andrew Jackson. Now, we have to remember that even though it's a fluke party, it seems like a fluke party, the Know-Nothings did very well in the 1854 midterm elections, beating the Democrats, taking the Speaker of the House. Nathaniel Banks was a Know-Nothing. He was the Speaker of the House. They ran 76 candidates in 82 congressional elections. They won 35 of them in 1854. So they're a pretty serious party, and of course they're running on nativism. They're anti-Catholic. They're going to charge that John Fremont was a Catholic even though he wasn't, and that's going to throw a lot of votes to the Democrats and to some to the Know-Nothings as well. But they are a northern-based party, and they're going to do pretty well in the north. So we have our three parties. We have the Know-Nothings, we have the Democrats, and we have the Republicans. Let's put them all in a blender and turn the on button on and see what happens. So during the campaign, the Republicans ran on the concept that they're fighting against slave power, that the West needs to be free labor, that this is the heart of republicanism. So in a sense, they're moving closer to the abolitionists. They're not there yet, but they're definitely arguing for stopping the expansion of slavery. The Democrats, on the other hand, they're pretty direct. They're arguing that if the Republicans win, that means civil war. And like we said, the Know-Nothings, the American Party, they're running a nativistic campaign, charging Fremont as a Catholic, and in a sense really sucking votes away from the Republicans in the North, giving it to the Democrats. So as you can see from the electoral map, James Buchanan and the Democrats are going to sweep the South, notwithstanding the Know-Nothing success in Maryland. And of course, also Buchanan is winning New Jersey and Pennsylvania. He's winning Indiana. He's winning Illinois. So that's going to lock up his win with 174 electoral votes. John Fremont and the Republicans, they're going to capture 114 electoral votes, of course, all of those northern states, and him losing New Jersey and Pennsylvania is really going to seal the deal. And at the end of the day, James Buchanan isn't going to get 50% of the popular vote with 45.3%. John Fremont and the Republicans at 33% and about 22% for Millard Fillmore and the American Party. In fact, when we look at how he ran in the free states, he won 114 electoral votes out of 162 electoral votes. In the South, he got decimated. In fact, Buchanan, the Democrat from Pennsylvania, won 56% of the popular vote in the South. Millard Fillmore won 44%. John Fremont, he got less than 1,000 votes in all of the southern states. That shows you where the South is in terms of what the Republican Party represents to their interest in this country. Now, there were some swing states back then. In fact, Illinois is a free state, Indiana is a free state, and New Jersey is a free state. They all went for the Democrats. So if Fremont had won those three states, he would have been the president, and then the Civil War would have started in 1856. So there you go, guys. We have James Buchanan. He's our new president, and he has been consistently ranked as the worst American president in our history, namely because he really wouldn't do anything about the Civil War that was heading to our head like a bullet. He said that secession was illegal, but a war to stop secession was illegal as well. So I don't know what you do when you're in that situation. All right, guys, giddy up for the learning. We hope your brain's just a little bit bigger, and make sure you check out all of the other election videos we've already done down in the description below, and be a kind soul and subscribe to HipHughes History. We have hundreds and hundreds of videos, and we're coming out with new videos every week. So there you go, guys. I always say when I finish a lecture, because it's always true, where attention goes, energy flows. We'll see you guys next time. Let you press my buttons.